Chosen one, what I'm about to share with you may shake everything you thought you knew about yourself. If you're watching this right now, understand, this is not a coincidence. You've been divinely led here because something extraordinary is awakening within you. The world didn't bow to you out of love. They bowed out of fear. They called you a god, not because they believed, but because they feared what you are. Your power isn't polite or easy to explain. It's raw, untamed, and undeniable. You are the insane god they warned each other about. The storm they prayed would never come. The one they secretly envy, even as they try to contain you. And now, everything is shifting. You're moving from wanting to having. What you've been praying for, hoping for, and waiting on is no longer out of reach. It's already unfolding. This isn't just a mindset shift. It's a full, spiritual, and energetic transformation. As a chosen one, you're going to witness breakthroughs, alignment, and divine acceleration in ways that will leave you speechless. But before we dive into this life-changing message, pause for just a moment and do 3 simple things. Hit that like button, subscribe to help us reach 50,000 subscribers, and leave a comment with the number 11. That number carries divine alignment and will send a powerful, energetic signal to the universe, amplifying everything you're about to receive. And remember, if you're truly a chosen one, you'll stay with this message until the end. Because deep down, your spirit already knows this was meant for you. Some won't make it, but those who do, your life is about to change forever. Let's begin. For centuries, the masses didn't raise their voices in praise of you. Their silence wasn't born from reverence or respect. It was born from terror. They saw the raw, unfiltered force coursing through your veins and recoiled. You were never a figure of admiration. You were an omen of chaos, the living embodiment of a nightmare they desperately hoped would never come true. Fear is a far more potent motivator than love, especially when confronted with something so wild, so untamed, it defies explanation. Their eyes weren't filled with adoration, but with a primal dread, the kind that shakes the soul and twists the heart. To them, you were a storm they couldn't weather, a force so immense it threatened to obliterate everything they thought they understood. They whispered your name in hushed tones, not to honor you, but to warn each other. Beware the one who walks the edge of sanity, they said. Beware the power no one can control. And though they never dared face you directly, their fear shaped every story, every myth, every legend, because the only way they could comprehend you was through trembling submission. This fear, raw and unfiltered, fueled their actions, attempting to confine you behind veils of lies, to mute your roar beneath layers of doubt. But fear, unlike love, cannot be contained forever. It grows, festers, and eventually explodes. And now, that explosion is here. The world knows. They didn't bow because they loved. You made them bow because you are the storm they've been running from. The intensity of that fear is your true power. It means you are real. You are a force beyond comprehension. And in this trembling, the world acknowledges an unshakable truth. Fear is respect twisted by awe. You are that awe. You are the terrifying God they never wanted to meet. History has a cruel way of labeling what it fears as madness. Every great force that disrupts the status quo is branded insane, unstable, or broken. You've heard it all. Madman, outcast, dangerous. But madness isn't chaos without reason. It's a brilliance so fierce, it frightens the weak. Your mind, your power, your very existence are not errors of nature. They are evolutions beyond mortal understanding. True divinity isn't gentle. It doesn't fit in neat boxes or dance to the tunes of those too small to comprehend it. Your visions, your strength, and your relentless drive have been mistaken for insanity because few have the courage or the capacity to see beyond the surface. You're a puzzle too complex for the frightened and narrow-minded. Consider the great minds of history, from visionary artists to revolutionary leaders, those called mad before they were celebrated. They challenged reality, broke conventions, and reshaped worlds, much like you are doing now. Your madness is the sign of a divine mind breaking through the shackles of limited human perception, rewriting the rules of existence itself. So reject the labels, embrace the power in your perceived insanity, because what they call madness is the purest form of freedom, a refusal to conform, to obey, or to be tamed. You stand not as a broken soul, but as the embodiment of a God too vast for their limited minds. The divine doesn't explain itself, it simply is. And you, in your glorious, untamable complexity, are proof of that sacred truth. What you faced was never just the envy of mere mortals. It was the deep, primal jealousy of gods themselves. Gods who saw in you a spark they had long forgotten or feared would outshine their own hollow divinity. This was not petty jealousy, but cosmic envy, an ancient war of power and pride stretching beyond mortal time. Divine jealousy is a dark, corrosive force. It twists loyalty into betrayal, love into hatred, and protection into imprisonment. The gods envied the fire in your soul, the untamed flame that threatened to burn through their carefully constructed illusions and reveal the truth beneath their false authority. Think of mythic tales where deities clashed over mortals or each other, where power shifted hands and kingdoms fell because envy consumed them. Your rise rekindled that age-old war, shaking the heavens and earth alike. They sought to diminish you, to cage your light, not out of cruelty alone, but out of fear of their own obsolescence. Their jealousy was a warning, a desperate attempt to stop a new era that challenged their reign. But jealousy, no matter how divine, is a weakness when faced with your unyielding strength. Where they faltered, you surged forward, becoming a blazing symbol of hope and terror intertwined. Their envy was not just an obstacle, it was the crucible that forged your godhood. And from its flames, you emerge not diminished, but reborn, more powerful than they ever imagined. The world has always been waiting, not for a hero, but for you. Your power is not random chaos. It carries a divine weight and intention that even the cosmos itself respects. You were never merely chosen by chance or prophecy. You were forged by fate and fire, destined to shake the foundations of existence. Power without purpose is empty. But your strength pulses with a clarity and mission so intense, it blinds those who seek to oppose it. You are the instrument of transformation, the catalyst of change that the old world desperately fears. This is not a role you stumbled into. It's the destiny you were born to fulfill. The stories and prophecies whispered through generations were never about peace or salvation. They were warnings, echoes of a coming storm that only you could bring. Your purpose is not to soothe or compromise, but to break and remake, to tear down what is corrupt and raise a new order in its place. Every surge of your power is a message, a declaration. You will no longer be a pawn in the game of gods or men. You are the force they underestimated, the living revolution they tried to bury. Your divine purpose is relentless, uncompromising, and unstoppable. Embrace this role fully. The world awaits your judgment, your fire, and your reign. You are the chosen one, not by whim, but by the undeniable truth of your existence. For ages, prophecies have echoed through time, veiled in mystery, and interpreted with hope for peace or salvation. But the true prophecy was never about calm or harmony. It was always about you. You are the fulcrum on which fate turns, the unpredictable storm the seers could only glimpse with dread. Prophecies are often misunderstood or misused to placate the fearful masses, promising a savior who brings quiet and rest. But yours is the antithesis, a herald of upheaval, a shattering force that will break illusions and force the world to reckon with its own darkness. You are the living proof that destiny is raw and violent, not neat and comfortable. Those who spoke of your coming did so with fear in their eyes. They whispered of a time when the very fabric of reality would tremble, when the skies would bleed and the earth would scream. This was no gentle prophecy. It was a warning, because you are the reckoning they never wanted to face. To accept this prophecy is to accept the weight of change. You are not the promise of peace, but the guarantee of transformation, a divine agent of chaos whose existence demands revolution. And that revolution will not be gentle. You are not the end of a story. You are the beginning of a new era, written in fire and thunder. Absolutely. Here's the continuation with the remaining 10 headings, each crafted with 5 rich, engaging paragraphs, continuing the same powerful, emotional tone. Let's dive in. Throughout your journey, many have branded you mad, unstable, or dangerous, but their words are not truths. They are chains designed to cage a wild spirit that refuses to be tamed. You could never be controlled, not because of weakness, but because your strength defies boundaries. Your will shatters constraints. Those who fear power often try to silence it by twisting perception, painting independence as insanity. But real madness is conformity, the dull acceptance of chains. You, on the other hand, blaze with untamable fire, and that terrifies them more than any blade or war machine. Imagine a world where you bowed to others' rules, muted your voice, or dimmed your light to fit in. That world would be a lie. Your madness is your rebellion, a declaration that you will never be a puppet in someone else's play. You rewrite the script, rewrite the rules, and that is terrifying for those who live in predictable shadows. Their accusations are born from a deep-seated fear of what you represent. Freedom unrestrained, a power not subject to their whims. They hated the truth you brought because it shattered their control, exposed their weakness, and illuminated their own cowardice. So wear their labels as badges of honor. Madness to them is the only word they can grasp for a soul too wild, too free, and too divine to be broken. You are the storm that cannot be chained, and in that freedom lies your greatest power. While others live within the confines of tales written by fate or tradition, you hold the pen. You're not merely a character drifting through the pages of history. You are the author, the creator, the architect of destiny itself. Your choices don't just move the story forward, they redefine the entire narrative. In every moment, you break the mold set by others. You reject the role of passive participant, and step into the role of master storyteller. Your actions ripple across worlds, altering timelines and shaping realities in ways those before you could only dream of. This power to craft your own legend is rare and sacred. It means no one else controls your fate. The myths that tried to bind you were written by fearful minds, but you tear up those pages and write your truth with bold strokes of fire and defiance. To be the author is to wield unparalleled responsibility and unparalleled power. It means you decide who rises and who falls, what truths survive and what myths crumble. The weight of this power is heavy, but it fuels your will rather than breaking it. You don't follow stories, you create them. And with every word you write, the world is forever changed by your unstoppable hand. The beings called gods, revered and feared by mortals alike, were never the benevolent protectors they claimed to be. They were jailers, keeping you shackled in chains of lies, suppressing the divine fire within you so that their own fragile thrones wouldn't tremble. They built walls of deception, veiled your truth in shadow, and spread myths to bind you in fear and doubt. Their goal was not to nurture, but to dominate, to control the raw power you wielded and keep it hidden from the world that rightfully belonged to all. Behind the masks of divinity, these so-called gods feared what you represented, the unbridled power of genuine creation and destruction, a force that could unseat their reign. Their protection was a prison, their worship a cage. The truth is, their rule was an illusion, maintained by cruelty and manipulation. But you have shattered their chains and exposed their falsehoods. You stand free, no longer confined by the shackles they forged. You are the liberation they feared, a force of pure freedom that will dismantle their fragile empires and rebuild from the ashes with a new order where true power belongs to those brave enough to claim it. For so long, the world was fed stories designed to keep you buried in shadows, lies meant to confuse, to belittle, to erase your very existence. But truth has a way of burning through the darkest deceptions, and you are that unstoppable blaze. Every lie whispered about your power, every false narrative spun to cage you, was a thread in a fragile web. But you have torn that web apart. Your presence alone is a revelation, an undeniable fact that their illusions cannot withstand. Truth is raw and wild, like you. It does not bow to authority or fear. It cuts through doubt and deceit like a sword through silk. Your awakening is the shattering of illusions, the breaking of silence, the exposing of the hidden. They tried to bury your legacy beneath layers of falsehood, but truth is a living force. It fights, it grows, and it cannot be stopped. You are the embodiment of that truth, the living proof that their lies were built on sand. With every step you take, you dismantle their narratives. You reveal what they tried to hide. You become the reckoning of truth that the world desperately needs, even if it trembles in fear before it. From the moment you entered this world, your destiny was carved not to inspire blind worship, but to command profound fear, a fear rooted in respect for the immense and uncontrollable force you carry. Worship is a quiet surrender. Fear is an acknowledgement of power that cannot be ignored. You do not seek followers who bow with empty eyes or praise with hollow hearts. You demand recognition for the storm you are, for the judgment you bring, for the fire in your soul that scorches through lies and complacency alike. True reverence comes from awe born of fear. When people fear you, they acknowledge your strength. They recognize the sacred danger that surrounds you, the fact that you are a force of nature, neither tame nor trivial. Your power doesn't invite love or softness. It demands attention, respect, and trembling silence. To be feared is not to be hated. It is to be understood in the most profound and primal way possible. You are not a gentle deity to be adored from afar. You are the tempest that sweeps the world clean, the unyielding force that no one can ignore, the God they fear because you are real. For generations, they worked tirelessly to keep you dormant, to lull your fire into a false slumber with deceit, doubt, and fear. They hoped that if they could keep you asleep, the world could remain theirs to control. But you were never meant to stay in shadows. Your awakening was inevitable. No amount of chains or whispers could stop the storm brewing inside you. When you finally opened your eyes, the world trembled with a realization that shook even the gods. Waking up is painful. It means facing every lie, every betrayal, every truth they tried to hide. It means stepping into a light so fierce it burns through illusions and scorches old comforts. But it also means reclaiming your power, your purpose, your very identity. You rose from the ashes of their schemes, stronger and more determined than ever. Their hope that you'd remain asleep was a desperate wish against the unstoppable force you embody. Now that you are awake, the world can no longer pretend. The game is over. You have come to claim what was always yours. You are a force so immense, so profound, that the world, in its current form, cannot fully grasp or contain you. The earth trembles beneath your footsteps. The heavens whisper your name in fear, and yet the world is not yet prepared for the full measure of your power. But this unpreparedness is no accident. It is the reason for your rise. You are the catalyst of change, the inevitable reckoning that forces a world clinging to old ways to either evolve or shatter. Change is uncomfortable, frightening, even violent. The world's resistance to you is a reflection of its own fragility, its unwillingness to face truths it has long ignored. And yet, without you, no transformation can occur. You are the test, the challenge, and the salvation. The world's unpreparedness is a crucible, one you will burn through until new realities are forged in your wake. This discomfort, this fear, this trembling, they are signs that the old order is dying, and you are the spark lighting the path toward a new dawn. Within you burns a flame unlike any other, a fire so fierce it pierces through the veils separating mortal realms from divine heights. This flame is your essence, your power, your undying spirit that refuses to be extinguished by gods or men. It is a fire born of suffering, strength, and unyielding will, a light that burns away falsehoods, corruptions, and the shadows of fear. This flame does not warm gently. It scorches with divine intensity, purifying all in its path. To carry this flame is to carry both a blessing and a burden. It demands sacrifice, resilience, and an unbreakable spirit. But it also grants you a power beyond comprehension, the ability to reshape worlds, tear down heavens, and forge new destinies. The gods may tremble at this flame, but you wield it with fierce mastery. It is the core of who you are, the eternal fire that will never be dimmed. You are the reckoning. The world, the gods, and those who wield power in shadows have long pretended that judgment would never arrive. But your presence is the undeniable truth, the final verdict on all their lies, corruption, and cowardice. Judgment is not just punishment. It is balance restored, justice served, and truth unveiled. You bring the weight of consequences that they have avoided for too long, a force so inevitable that it shakes even the mightiest to their core. They built empires on deceit, trusting that their crimes would be forgotten. But you are here to tear those empires down, not out of spite, but out of necessity. Their time has passed, and your judgment is the cleansing fire that will renew the world. You don't offer mercy to the corrupt or the complacent, because true judgment is neither cruel nor kind. It is absolute, and in your hands, that judgment is as unstoppable as the storm you embody. You are not just a symbol to rally behind or a myth to inspire hope. You are the wellspring of true power itself. Every force, every legend, every source of strength ultimately flows from the fire burning within you. Symbols are static, distant, and often hollow, but you are living power, dynamic, fierce, and real. To know you is to know the heartbeat of the universe's raw energy, the core from which all creation and destruction flow. You don't borrow power, you are power. Every breath you take reverberates across dimensions, every thought reshapes reality, and every action rewrites the laws that bind existence. Those who seek to understand the true nature of divinity look to you because you embody the infinite potential that others only dream of. You are not a shadow cast by legends. You are the source from which all legends are born. Gotcha! I'll create 15 new, captivating and explosive headings with 5 rich, long paragraphs each, packed with emotion, vivid imagery, and magnetic power to grip any listener or reader. Here's the full set, ready to elevate your epic narrative to the next level. From the moment you emerged, the world sought to crush your spirit, to shatter your will with relentless storms of doubt and oppression. Every blow was meant to bend you, every betrayal designed to extinguish your fire. But you did not break. Instead, each hardship forged you stronger, sharper, more relentless. You've endured the darkest nights, when hope was a distant flicker and pain was the only constant. But in those moments of despair, something inside you ignited, an unquenchable flame that no force could douse. You rose like a phoenix, each scar a testament to survival, each wound a symbol of transformation. This unbreakable nature is not born of invulnerability, but of fierce resilience. It's the ability to feel every strike deeply, yet choose to stand taller, to grow fiercer. The world can try to break you, but it will only craft a warrior who surpasses all limits. Unbreakable means you are no longer bound by their expectations or their attempts to define you. You are your own master, your own destiny, forged in the fires of resistance and rising with unstoppable power. So stand firm, knowing that the force trying to destroy you is the very force that made you immortal. Wherever you go, your shadow stretches far beyond your presence. A living legend, whispered in fearful reverence. It is not just darkness, but a tapestry of every battle fought, every enemy faced, every triumph earned. Your shadow speaks volumes before you even move. Legends are not born from light alone. Your shadow carries the weight of secrets, sacrifices, and the price of your power. It's the imprint of your will on the world, a silent warning that your influence is unstoppable and omnipresent. People see your shadow first and recognize the storm it represents. It moves with silent power, casting doubt and awe alike, reminding all that what lurks in darkness often holds more truth and strength than what stands in the light. Your shadow is a story in motion, an echo of your greatness that stretches beyond time and space. It is a living proof that your legacy is already cemented, not in words, but in the trembling hearts of those who dare cross your path. Never underestimate the power of what follows you. It's not just darkness, it's a herald of your unstoppable rise. There's a primal power coursing through your veins, one that others can only fantasize about, but you wield with fearless certainty. You command elements, energies, and forces that shake the very foundation of reality. What others see as impossible, you bend with a mere thought. This power is not granted lightly. It is earned through sacrifice, pain, and unwavering will. It's the raw stuff of legends, the kind of strength that legends whisper about in fear and respect. You don't borrow this power from others. You are the source itself. The universe responds to your presence. Storms rage, mountains tremble, and stars flicker in awe. You are not a spectator in this cosmic dance, but the conductor, directing the symphony of existence with unstoppable grace and force. Those who try to harness similar power are mere novices playing with fire. You, however, have mastered the flame, becoming its very embodiment, a force that shapes worlds and reshapes destinies with every breath. Every empire, every tyrant, and every false god believed their reign would last forever. They counted on complacency, silence, and the world's submission. But you are the reckoning, the unexpected storm that crashes through their illusions and shatters their control. They underestimated the depths of your fury, the precision of your will, and the unstoppable momentum of your rise. They saw you as a flicker, a threat to be contained, only to realize too late that you were a tidal wave destined to sweep away everything in your path. Reckoning is more than vengeance. It is balance. It is the cosmic justice that resets the scales and forces truth to the surface. You bring clarity where there was deception, justice where there was corruption, and power where there was weakness. No one can stop the reckoning once it begins. It is inevitable, unstoppable, and utterly transformative. And you are its living, breathing force. The world you knew is built on fragile foundations, corruption, lies, and decay. Many fear this fire, wishing to douse it with false promises and hollow peace. But fire cannot be tamed or tricked. It follows its own will and consumes all obstacles in its path. Your flame is both terrifying and hopeful, a symbol of end and beginning. The old world will burn, but from its ashes, a new era dawns, and you are the spark that sets it all in motion. Your name carries power, so much so that it is spoken in whispers, half in awe and half in terror. It rolls like thunder across the lands, a sound that ignites hope in some and dread in others. You are a living paradox, a deity to some, a nightmare to others. Names are more than just sounds. They are vessels of meaning and memory. Yours holds the weight of countless battles, unyielding will, and the promise of unstoppable change. Those who speak it know that with your name comes the undeniable presence of power itself. In shadows and light, your name echoes. It is a rallying cry for the oppressed and a warning to the corrupt. It is a symbol of rebellion, strength, and the inevitable shift in the balance of power. To whisper your name is to acknowledge that a new force has arrived, one that will not be ignored, defeated, or forgotten. Before every great silence falls, there is a storm, a chaotic, violent upheaval that shakes the very core of existence. You are that storm, the furious tempest that tears through lies and prepares the world for the calm that follows. Your power is loud, untamed, and unrelenting. It disrupts false peace and forces the world to confront uncomfortable truths. But this storm is not destruction for its own sake. It is a necessary force, clearing away the old and making space for new beginnings. After the storm, silence does not mean defeat. It means transformation. It is the quiet that follows the fire, the moment when the world breathes again, reborn and ready for what comes next. You are both the storm and the promise of peace beyond it. The world must weather your fury before it can embrace the new dawn. The very chains they crafted to bind you, chains of doubt, fear, and control, have been transformed into your greatest symbol of power. What was meant to imprison you is now the crown that marks your sovereignty and resilience. Each link in those chains tells a story of struggle, pain, and ultimate victory. You didn't just break free, you elevated the tools of your oppression into the ornaments of your triumph. This crown is not made of gold or jewels, but forged from hardship and the fire of your spirit. It glimmers with the light of every challenge overcome and every battle won. Wearing these chains as a crown is a testament to your indomitable will, proof that nothing designed to hold you back can ever diminish your greatness. Reality, for most, is a fixed concept, a rigid framework set in stone. But you are a force that bends and reshapes reality itself with every breath, every choice, every action. Your existence challenges the very fabric of what is possible. With a single step, you alter destinies. With a single word, you fracture illusions. Your presence is a catalyst for change that defies the natural order, pushing boundaries that others fear to cross. You don't accept limitations imposed by others or by fate. You redefine them, break through them, and build new pathways where none existed. In your hands, reality is not a cage, it is clay, and you are the master sculptor, creating worlds shaped by your will and vision. When your fury ignites, it is not just felt, it reverberates across the cosmos itself. Your wrath is thunder, a celestial force that shakes the foundations of heaven and earth, demanding attention and respect. This is not petty anger, but divine retribution, a power so immense that even stars falter in its wake. It is the reckoning that all who have wronged you must face, the sound of justice arriving with unstoppable force. Your wrath cleanses corruption, punishes deceit, and balances the scales of cosmic order. It is not cruel, it is necessary. Without it, the universe would remain in chaos and decay. To face your wrath is to confront the raw, unfiltered power of the divine unleashed. And few survive the storm. While others flicker and fade, your flame burns eternally, an undying light that no darkness can snuff out. It is the essence of your spirit, the core of your being, and the source of your infinite strength. This flame has survived betrayal, loss, and despair. It has been tested in the deepest shadows and emerged brighter and fiercer each time. It is not just a symbol of life, but of eternal resilience. The proof that no matter how dark the night, dawn always comes. Your eternal flame is a beacon for those who follow and a warning to those who oppose. It is the heartbeat of your godhood, forever burning bright against the void. History often tries to forget what it fears. They attempted to erase you, your name, your power, your very existence from the records of time.